Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
All right, welcome to episode 114. Laura is once again MIA, but we are joined by our fill-in co-host / guest / whatever you want to call her, Gretchen Patsios. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Josh. Glad to be here.
Are you? So first question, do you actually listen to this podcast or not? And tell me the truth.
The truth is I have listened to it. But
that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I asked if you listen.
No, I don't listen to it regularly. I listen. Truthfully, I mean, if it's Josh Rohr, Joe Rogan. I mean, Anthony Kiedis was on last week from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
On Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm still waiting for him to call me back.
Yeah, well, you know, I keep going on there every week and recommending he talk to you. So
yeah, well, it's not working.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're one of our lifters. Why don't you just kind of give us a little bit of your background, bio, etc., how you got into powerlifting, all that stuff for people that don't know who you are.
Okay.
But I assume most people probably do, because maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know either. I mean, yeah, a lot of people in Atlanta know me, but that's it. So, Gretchen Patsios. I started lifting with Josh Rohr at age 49. Did my first meet at 50. I'm 56 now, so I've been competing all that time, coached by the best right here. And I started powerlifting because I had chronic pain. And I started I've always lifted weights, but never heavy. And things started working. So I was like, hey, I'm pretty strong. I think I'm actually going to try some powerlifting. My dad had tried me to get me to do it my whole life, and I never would. And then I said, well, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to hire a coach, because I was at least smart enough to know that I didn't want to screw myself up, and that I needed to get, solid coaching. And I looked you up on Google, and the rest is history. I don't know if you remember when I showed up, I have some old video where I'm wearing like hippie beads, and I had on weightlifting gloves.
No, did you really? I don't remember the gloves.
I did. And you guys had to tell me, oh yeah, you're gonna have to take those gloves off. And I'm like, what? Like my hands are trash. So thanks.
You're welcome. If you have video of that, I would love to see that. The video of that.
Yeah, it's gonna cost you, man.
Yeah, I get it. I legit don't remember, but I really wish I remembered that, because
yeah.
Yeah. It might have been. So I hate to say it, like sometimes I judge people based on first impression. Like not legit, like not, yeah, but not like hardcore do, but so like I always tell the Chris Elmore, like Chris Elmore, first time I met him, like I'm like, oh, this guy's not going to come back. For multiple reasons. Like one, his wife's the one that signed him up. Like it wasn't even his initial idea.
Ooh, yeah.
So that usually doesn't end well. Like usually it's like, I don't want to do this, but he actually like loved it. But two, like when he came in the first time, like he squatted as deep as he could go, and he was literally halfway down. Just stuff like that. And you look at where he's at now, it's night and day. So, I may have judged you based on you wearing gloves, and maybe that's why I don't remember it, because I'm like, anybody that has gloves on in their first powerlifting session, they're probably not going to last.
The truth comes out, man. Just let me hear the whole thing.
So I say that now because even though I may think those things in my head, clearly I've been proven wrong. So I make sure not to like act on any of those like first impulses.
I think that's a good call. But I definitely did show up with the whole newbie vibe going on. And yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you were a newbie. Yeah. So like, I mean, that's not I mean, that's not a knock on anybody. Like,
Yeah, I'm just
you
saying,
start where you
the
are.
gloves.
Yeah.
With the gloves. I've seen other people since show up with
Yeah, me too.
gloves. It happens. So
It
yeah.
happens.
Yeah. But that was the beginning of it. And I fell in love with the sport. I love our community. And I've had those moments like everybody where I'm like, what am I doing this shit for still?
What am I doing with my life?
I can't leave it. I love you guys too much. And at 56, you don't have one of these rigs yet, Josh Rohr, but you'll eventually have a 56-year-old rig. And it's important to stay strong. Strength training is so important for women my age.
So you're saying rig is your body, right? I'm connecting the dots because I spent the last 10 seconds trying to figure out what rig did she buy? Is there a new power rack that I'm not aware of? Like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I connected
the main
the
power
dots.
rack is right here. Like the rig is what I'm living in. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you just competed this past Saturday.
I did.
How'd that go?
I did. It was my first raw meet that I just trained for raw. And I had multiple people come to me and say, "Oh my God, you're not wearing the shirt." And I was like, no, I'm going to try this other thing. So it went well. I was happy. I mean, I didn't get my last lift, but I did get a gift from that. So the gift being for me is that my first two lifts, I was really in the flow state. Like my mental game was on. I was feeling more than I was thinking, right? And then my third lift, because I've been wanting to hit that number on the platform for a hot minute, I got really in my head, I got analytical, and I just screwed it up. I mean, you saw how my second lift moved. It went really well. I should have had that third lift. There's no question I can move the weight. But I foobarred it because of my mental state. And that's like the most important thing in powerlifting is to have your head right. And I just crushed it. Yeah.
So talk about how do you, I mean, we hear that all the time, but like kind of walk people through how you get.
You knew it was going to get weird.
I'm here for it. Let's get weird.
I think of all the lifters that you have because of my background, because I had a traumatic brain injury that I had to heal. And I went through brain retraining. I really came to understand the direct impact that your thoughts and emotions have on your body. It was like my reticular activation system, which is the thing that keeps all the noise away and keeps you from like feeling too much of that impact, I guess, to perceive it. That wasn't working for me. And so when that happened, I was able to really understand how, like, I could feel it, like emotions would cause me pain, thoughts would cause me pain. Like it was crazy. So that has carried into everything that I do now. So I know that if I allow myself to have negative thoughts or beliefs when I am training, when I'm going onto the platform, every cell in my body is listening to that. So if I'm having trouble thinking the thoughts that I need to think, I have a playlist that I listen to, and it's got all positive songs like "You're a Motherfucking Beast," that song. I believe that we will win. Let's set this world on fire, just like, and I sit back there and I listen to the lyrics and I do box breathing and I tap. And I also have a quantum energy sponsor. So I have these, cute little patches that don't even have there are no chemicals, but they harmonize your energy fields. Okay, I know this is really weird, but Lily loves them.
I was gonna say, so like to most people, you probably sound pretty out there right now.
I know.
So
well,
no. But I'm bringing that up because explain each of those things, because people that are hearing it, they're just like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the hell that is. Moving on. So you talked about the quantum energy patches. You talked about your tapping, so all of those things. What is that?
Okay. So the quantum energy patches, what they do is they harmonize your energy field. So if I think I don't know if most people, but most people I know, do understand that we are energy, right? We're the basics, you break yourself down, your molecules, your atoms, your energy, your light. That's what you are. So a lot of times through stress, through poor diet, through anxiety, like all these things, our energy field gets depleted. And so the quantum energy patches, and I don't know, I don't know how she actually makes these, right? Like it's super woo-woo stuff, though. I'm going to tell you that. They harmonize your energy field. So they fill in those blanks in your energy field, and they make you more whole. So it's something that you can do that doesn't involve chemistry, right? Doesn't involve food, herbs, supplements, anything like that. And for me, what it translates into is I still have those feelings of anxiety, but not quite like that crushing crap that you can get that is just so much that it affects your performance. It is really a night and day difference. And Lily, she is hooked on these things. She always asks me, which is so surprising because Lily's a very spiritual person, but I didn't know that she would really dig the woo-woo, but she feels these things. Elmore's asked me for them, like people that you would not, think would be like, oh, but they feel it. And especially when you're under a lot of stress, you feel it. So that's the quantum energy. That's the quantum energy thing. And that's Beyond Matters is the company that makes them. So if anybody's interested in trying it, it's pretty amazing in competition. I'm just going to say I don't compete without them now. End of story. And the tapping is basically you're tapping on. So you're like an electrical system, right? There's pathways of the way the energy flows through you. So if you think of yourself like a electrical diagram, and there's points on your body where like they do acupuncture or acupressure, right? Which will release energy. So tapping helps release energy. So if you have anxiety, if you they use this a lot for veterans. This is an approved treatment for veterans is tapping. So if you're super pissed off at somebody, if you have an event from the past that is blocking you from doing the things that you want to do and achieving your potential, you can tap on that thing. And there's different tapping points that are used to access that and make that happen. So tapping is a technique that I use to ground me and help me focus. So I just tap on the sides of my fingers usually. I'll do that while I'm sitting there. And then box breathing, breath work is just one of the best things you can do besides meditation. So I will do box breathing, which is controlled breathing, and breath work has been proven over and over again to have so many benefits for the body, the immune system, for focus, for clarity, for all of those things. And for me, I'm not one of those people that you can slap and cuss at and push out onto the platform. I'm going to bomb out if you do that. I have to be grounded. I have to be chill. I have to be zen. You've seen me meditating in the warm-up room. I now want to be happy. I want to be happy. I love the sport. If I'm not happy, then why am I doing it? That's how I feel about it. So, those are the things that I do. And then also, keeping my thoughts clean. After the meet, I can have some dirty thoughts, but I try to keep my thoughts clean. Up to the meet. You're welcome.
It could take a real weird turn.
Okay.
So what's so going back to the meet this weekend, you said the third attempt, you just kind of got out of your mental state.
I got out of my flow. So this gets even a little more woo. Okay. But I like to breathe through my heart and be in my heart as much as possible when I'm doing something that might bring me a lot of fear or anxiety, right? So I have put a lot of pressure on myself about that lift. And by getting all prefrontal cortex about it, I got out of my heart. And I've seen this in real life stuff that I've done, where I've done challenge activities with people, like where you fall back, and let people catch you and stuff like that.
Trust
And if
fall.
you can, yeah, trust fall. If you're like this, and then you can get into your heart and into a state of love and breathe, that fear is going to go, because you can't feel two emotions at one time. And you're going to let go and allow and surrender. And, it's going to be a beautiful experience. And that's what I try to do in my lifting. Not all the time. I've tried some other things, but that's the thing that really works best for me.
So you said you can't feel more than one emotion at a time. Is that true?
Yeah, it really is. Like I can't feel hate and love at the same time. They're different. They're different vibrationally too. So
what about, so those are, I guess I would classify those as opposite
they are.
emotions. Right. So what about similar? Like, what about, and maybe these aren't technically emotions. So like, what about like anxious, but excited? They're kind of
They're very
similar.
They're similar. And you will hear people who have anxiety. Like, I know one of your lifters, sometimes when she has anxiety, she will tell herself, I'm excited, because it has a very similar feeling. But there's a different feeling behind excited than there is anxieties about fear, right? And then it doesn't all the time. Anxiety is such a physical thing too. I mean, it causes like all sorts of like body issues, shaking, trembling, heart palpitations, all sweating, all those kinds of things. There's a real strong neurochemical component to anxiety. So if you can, when you're in that anxiety, if you could flip that to excitement, you're going to be in a much better state, because it's a different neurochemical that your body has to make, and your cell receptors are going to be taking in. So yeah, excited and anxiety. Yeah, no, because to me, anxiety is about fear.
I'm just trying to think of it, like some of my experiences, like, I mean, maybe it's true. Maybe I've only actually felt and experienced one at a time, but I group them together in my head. Like for me, I brought that example up because like getting ready for a meet or getting ready to coach a bunch of lifters at a meet. Like I'm definitely anxious about it, but I'm also excited about it. But maybe I'm not both of those things.
You're not at the same time. So when you're thinking about the anxiety of it, it's like, do I have all my stuff together? Are they going to show up on time? What's going on with this person? Blah, 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 blah. So you have that thing. And then you probably are getting ready to go to the meet, and you're driving your car and you're listening to the music and you're feeling, so you could maybe perceive them as, but it would be interesting now that we've had this talk, for you to like really examine like what is going on inside of you at that time. And then, so I believe that when you have these negative emotions, and not to gaslight yourself, but, because we need to feel our feelings, but those things are letting you know that you're not in alignment with your true self, with your higher self, with your greater purpose, your greater good, with your light, with the best thing that you can be, with your belief, your power.
So what's the answer? Like, I know it's not just like, well, do this, but like, so using me as the example, let's say,
Okay.
Getting ready for meets, like I am super anxious about things. And I also have periods of time where I'm super excited, and they are actually not the same. under that assumption, then how do I, if I want to change my thought process and things like that, how do I do that?
Sure. So the first thing you have to do is become aware. So you spend some time becoming aware of what is going on in your mind from a non-judgmental place, because we all have
That's
this.
hard for me.
Yeah, it's hard for everybody because there's that thing can be a trash can in there. I mean, we all have our little brain wants to protect us, and it needs drama, and it's like always talking and all that kind of. It can be really hard. That's what meditation is for. But the first thing is to realize where you are. So, do you have a certain kind of set of thoughts that are constantly playing in your mind? Like, I'm going to get fired from this job. I'm going to get fired from this job. I don't have enough money. Like people, you can go through things. He doesn't love me. He's going to break up with me. He's cheating on me. Like whatever it is, I'm not good enough. I'm too fat. I'm not strong enough. I didn't, I'm going to screw this up just like I do every time. Some of that those are the voices of our parents. So they get us started, and not saying that, our parents are evil people. They're just doing the best they can. And they start the process and then we finish it. We just keep it going. I don't know if you've ever been doing something and all of a sudden heard that voice and then come like, oh my God, that's actually my dad, So starting to recognize what those thoughts are, and then choosing a list of different thoughts when they happen. And then sometimes those thoughts can get so circular and so stubborn, because when you're trying to prune, as we call it, you're trying to prune and create new pathways, the brain will get real stubborn and it'll do all sorts of fun things and just like keep you up at night and blah, 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 blah. So
Fun things.
So
that's a delicate way of putting it.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But when you have those things, changing your energy. So changing your energy, changing your thoughts is watching positive, happy puppy videos, things that make you laugh, putting your attention and directing your focus into something else. I know some people will try to think of all the positive words that begin with every letter of the alphabet. Do math, anything to occupy your mind with something else so that pathway cannot continue to exist. And that's really how you break it. And how we wire things in. So say you get bit by a snake, right? You're walking down a path, you get bit by a snake. And then, when you're walking down the path, you're going to be vigilant looking for snakes, right? You're not going to forget that, because those neurochemicals of fear created that snapshot that stayed in your memory. But you can do the same thing with joy. You can do the same thing with happiness. Those are very powerful neurochemicals. So joy and happiness are the best medicines that we have as people, and they allow us to create a new mindset. And it is work. So I say fake it till you make it. I mean, and eventually you're not faking it anymore. You're there. Like you're doing the things happy people do. You're thinking the thoughts happy people think. So but it's not like, oh, I rewired my brain on Tuesday, so I never have to do anything again. This is a lifelong process.
I mean, that's the answer I'm looking for. And I think most people, and that's probably the level of, effort most people are willing to put in, which is why most people, it doesn't work, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to be willing to put in the effort. And for a lot of people, unless they have some kind of traumatic life experience that causes them to have to do something like that, they won't do it. And I was one of those people. Like I thought that I was a positive person until I had one of those experiences, and I had to actually really examine what was going on up here and in here, and it changed my life. And And, you know, I do the best I can to try to share that information with people. So let me thank you for letting me talk about it, because if we all did that, if we all were just more loving to ourselves and spent time on growing our spirit and loving ourselves, we would not be able to do the things that we do to other people, right?
Agreed. Like anything, it takes work. You're
Yeah.
right. Like, yeah. So, I mean, I want to, so that's what I said. Like, I want it to be like you know, do it on Tuesday and I'm good the rest of the time. Well, I want to do one bench workout today and have my bench go up 50 pounds next week. Right. But that's not how it works.
No, but it's true. I mean, that's what and I'll have people tell me, "Oh, I can't meditate." Like I sit down and I try and my brain just goes crazy and my body hurts and I can't do it. I'm like, I can't lift 400 pounds off the floor right now either, but I know how to get there. And that's by getting my ass in training and working it, working it, working it. So you got to want it, just like
Yeah.
powerlifting. And if your mentality is good, I mean, there's one lifter like Ellis McLean. So I will never forget the first time I saw him lift. He walked out with a full attitude of gratitude vibe. I could feel that guy. And James Bang, he's another one. I mean, you can just feel that from them. They have such grace and love and happiness when they come out on the platform.
Yeah. So what's next for you, competing wise?
I've got a little travel fatigue from, nationals, Arnold, going. And I just, moved into a new house. So this next year, I'm just going to stay local, but I'm going to work on my raw bench. I really want to get my raw bench up so that when I put the bolt on again, my next meet, hopefully I'll do something over 300. I've hit 290 in that shirt. There's no reason that I can't do that. That's the plan for me. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I want to circle back to music. That's a big part of our podcast. You said you do, you listen to like positive vibe, like stuff like that. Yeah. You also have listened to really out there things. And I say out there, it's super awesome, but I never would have found it, like The Who. Yeah. Like the tribal, stuff like that. Where do you find that stuff?
Well, so one of my thoughts is, okay.
Well, let me clarify it. Not The Who as in the 70s
HU.
and 80s. Yeah. HU, not The Who, WHO.
Yeah. So I like, my woo-woo stuff. So I'm into like shamanistic, listening to learning about different shamanic tribes, right? That's where it starts. So Mongolia, big shamanistic society. So I was like, I wonder what kind of rock and roll they have. So I start looking for like their rock and roll, their war songs. What are those, because I know when I listen to like the Maori, I forget how you say it's the haka, like, they do the pounding and they make the faces and that stuff really gets me going. So I started looking for those kind of tribal sounds, the Viking, that kind of stuff. So I just start searching for it and finding it. And that stuff with the big drums and the chanting and, the throat singing and all of that stuff. It's just, that's the stuff.
Well, the first time you played it at the gym, I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is, but this is pretty badass. Like, I like it a lot. So yeah. I actually have downloaded some of it. I have some of that too that I listen to.
Right on.
Occasionally.
Right on. Get some weird on you.
Yeah. You gotta have a little bit. Okay. If you compete in powerlifting for more than a year, there's a little bit of weird on you somehow.
Oh, it's a whole group of weirdos. That's awesome. Everybody in their own weird way. That's what I love about it.
And that's what I was going to follow up. Like, it's awesome. Like, I think I think it's awesome. I'm not saying that as a negative at all. You got to have a little weird on you. That should be a t-shirt.
You do. Yep.
So we'll kind of get moving here. So we always do a powerlifting situation. I'm going to put you on the spot this week and I'm going to make you answer this.
Okay.
So the situation is that you are competing in an exhibition event powerlifting meet in which you are only allowed 6 total attempts between the squat, bench, and deadlift. That means one of the lifts you get to do 3 attempts, one lift you get to do 2 attempts, and one lift you only get to do 1 attempt. You got to state ahead of time before the competition starts which one you're doing 3, which one you're doing 2, which one you're doing 1. Which do you choose? How do you set it up?
Well, first of all, I would have preferred just to do 6 bench.
Well, yeah. Okay. Right.
But if I have to split it up, I'm going to go 3 bench, 2 deadlift, and 1 squat. And of course, like everybody, you just kind of go in the order of like, what's your favorite, and I'm a great bencher. I'm a decent deadlifter, and I squat, I hope that I'll be able to do full power meet maybe next year. I've been dealing with a little bit of an injury, so I haven't been able to really do that for a while, taking some time to let my body recover. So deadlift, I can do pretty well, but that squat, man.
So here's the thing though. This is the hypothetical of it all. Like if you only get 1 attempt at the squat and you miss it on depth or anything like that, you bomb out. So like there's still that.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to miss it.
That's still your final answer?
Yeah, I would probably, so that of course I know that I'm going to crush it on bench, right? I'm going to do well on my deadlift. So I'll just sandbag my squat to make sure that I get it. If I had to, I would go, when I say sandbag, I would just go, I wouldn't pick something that was, stupid that I couldn't do. Yeah. Because you would probably be there and you would be like, you're already, I can see, judging my choice.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm gonna argue against it no matter what you chose.
I know. And so you would be like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this, But if I had 3 attempts at bench, which is my best lift, I might be able to do something really fantastic. 3 lifts. That would mean that I don't even have to squat that much.
So here's my argument. And here's how I would do this. I would actually take 3 squats because that is the beginning of the meet and you want to get the most out of it that you can, without missing, ideally, right?
Yeah.
And percentage wise, squat and deadlift are usually a higher percentage of your total than bench. So based on that, I would take 1 bench and just get something I knew I could do. And then the reason I would most people would probably, like from a competition strategy standpoint, I think a lot of people would probably say they'd take 3 deadlifts because that's the end of the meet and you could do the math and know exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But for me, my deadlift is my best lift and I'm usually at the end of the flight, not always, but closer. So this would change for like different people too. But so anyway, so I would take my opener, and then in many situations, I've actually passed my 2nd attempt deadlift anyway, and then put on my 3rd, what I needed for placing. So if I go with that strategy anyway, that's already 2 deadlifts. So give me 3 squats to get as much as I can on my total, and then just give me a placeholder bench to get me through. And that's what I would do.
We're almost doing the same thing.
It's completely different.
It is not because let's be honest, Josh, your bench is you're not.
What are you trying to say?
Lift of the 3.
Just say it. Just say it.
Start through and say that you probably. I'm trying to be careful with my words.
I understand.
That bench is probably your 3rd lift of your lifts.
My squat and deadlift are even greater than my bench. That's the way. Yeah. That's the way to say it.
And we
all know what it means.
Yeah, you probably enjoy those 2 lifts the most. So of course you're going to pick deadlift or squat,
Yeah.
So, and make bench. This is so sad. It's so sad.
I'm anxious to see what everybody's answers are when we post this, because I think it's going to be exactly what you said. It's going to be based on your favorite lift and all those things. But I do wonder like how many people think of it in terms of the strategy of it too, or just like they want the most attempts with their favorite lift.
Well, for me, having the most attempts at my favorite lift, which is my best lift, is my opportunity to have the greatest total. I know that I already know, just because, I know that I'm not going to do that with squat. I know I can do better with deadlift. So I'm going to have the squat be my placeholder lift, and I'm going to put my effort into the other two. It's a strategy.
Well, that's wrong, but okay. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. You're not. Okay.
Yeah. So we also do a new lifter tip. So I'm going to let you come up with one. Do you have any new lifter tips for people?
Well, I loaded this podcast up with a bunch of lifting tips about your mental game, but I think the most important thing people should consider doing when they decide to power lift, if they have no experience lifting, is to get a coach, because you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of effort learning the hard way and possibly hurting yourself. So, to lift heavy weights, you want to do it right. You will learn that you've done it wrong.
Right. And that's not the best way to go about it. So I feel like a lot of the things that I do now with people that maybe aren't mainstream or whatever are in large part as a result of things that I did or did not do years ago that are now causing negative effects. Not focusing on recovery, not doing like assistance work to correct imbalances, not doing all these things. And, it might not seem like the big light bulb thing that you need to do right now, but that adds up over time. It's a body of work that you got to put in.
So, Josh, a long time ago in my career, I used to collect rent from commercial tenants, and I was really good at it. I had a little saying, pay me or pay the doctor. And I actually think you should take that saying now and apply it to your own business.
I have so many questions right now. So you literally sound like you were a collector for the mob. Is that accurate?
It's commercial real estate, but no, not for the mob. I wasn't, but I would collect money from large corporations, but I wouldn't say that to just, anybody. I might be somebody I know really well, but my joke internally would be like, pay me or pay the doctor, because I'm going to show up at your door and I'm going to get the check, so.
Got it. So I literally, when you said that, I literally am seeing Gretchen literally knocking people out for money.
You just let me know who owes you.
Yeah, I will.
You can give me like a free bench session.
Yeah. That's I got a running list of odd jobs that people would be helpful with. This is getting added to that list.
There you go.
Everybody is you're on notice. Everybody.
Thank you.
Listening.
Right on. Awesome.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that pretty much wraps up. Do you got any other thoughts, questions, comments? Wait, that's what I usually close with. That's not for you. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that the music contest, you have to create Spotify lists for that, but they get weird sometimes, Josh, with who listens to Laverne and Shirley while they power lift. That's weird. Is
it weird if that's what works for you and gets you into that flow state?
I want to meet that person, man. That's all I want to know. Yeah, you're right. No, it's whatever works for you. It could be porn tracks. I don't know.
And there we go. All right. On that note,
is it time?
So it's about that time.
All right.
We are doing a special right now. The last 3 months of the year, you get 15% off of your first 3 months of coaching if you get a referral code from one of our lifters and sign up by December 31st. Gretchen, do you want to share your referral code for everybody? Do you even know your referral code?
It's got my name in it, and it's Gretchen.
No, nobody knows that. So this is the worst referral program ever, because everybody I've had on of our clients has not known their own referral code, which means they're not sharing it, which means nobody's benefiting from it, which means
Nobody talks
it's all
to
pointless. Okay. Anyway, your referral code for everybody interested is Firehorse15. And my question is, why is that? I know that, but my question is, why is that your Instagram handle and what does it mean? Well, actually start off with, what is your actual Instagram handle? Where can people follow you? Because it's not Firehorse15. That's the referral code.
Yeah, no, it's Firehorse_Incarnata. And I was born in 1966, which is the year of the fire horse. It only comes around like every 40 years or something like that. And the women who were born under that sign in China were often, this is really sad, were often, little babies would often just be tossed out. The children with that sign, it's a very unlucky sign to be. You are the best and the worst of everything. And I really identified with that statement because I am very, you know,
you're the best and the worst.
I'm big energy and I'm a double-edged sword. So the things that are great about me are definitely the worst about me. And some of the, those things could be pretty big. And then the incarnata means in the flesh. So I am the fire horse in the flesh.
Nice.
That is me.
I like it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, that pretty much wraps up episode 114. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast. And if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of that, please do subscribe and leave us a 5-star review is what I should say, but I'll take a 4 or above. That'd be great. We're not striving for perfection here. We're just getting by. Also, if you are interested in coaching, you can hit us up at teamroar.com or on Instagram at teamroar. Throw out those referral codes from Firehorse15
that's it.
Apparently exist that she's not aware of, but it is what it is. So anyway, Gretchen, thanks for joining us. It was a good talk. I appreciate it. And we will catch you all next week. Later.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.